Welcome to Ultimate Survival Gear. Today, as you guys can see, I have something from Astero, and as you can see, there is no box, there's just a plastic bag. The reason why it's just a plastic bag is because these shoes, these trail running shoes, have been designed specifically to be as affordable as they can be, and I think the manufacturer did a pretty good job because these shoes, these trail running shoes, are only $42.99. Yes, 43 bucks. The link, the Amazon link, is in the description below. So, for $43, can we really get a decent trail running shoe? Well, we gonna find out in this review, that is for sure. Now, this is not just a regular trail running shoe review. This review is specifically for my ultimate survival shoes section. Yes, basically, if this wasn't just your regular trail running shoe, but something bad happened, and maybe you were wearing these, or maybe you had them in the house, and now you had to survive. You had to run, walk for extended periods of time, climb, fight, swim, I don't know, whatever is necessary for your survival. Would these be good? Would they help you survive, or would they get you killed for $43? Well, how do we make the judgment? We make the judgment based on 8 different criteria. Let's begin. Criteria number 1, of course, the comfort level, one of the most important ones. And in order to assess the comfort level of all the boots and shoes that I review on this channel, I do a 3-mile run non-stop, and then a 5-mile walk non-stop, no pauses in between, and then I continue wearing the shoes for the rest of the day, so that the total wear time is 8 hours. Sometimes it can be pretty hard, believe me guys, but with these shoes, actually it wasn't. It was very, very easy, and there are a few things that contribute to that easiness, that comfort level. Let's start with the first one, the weight. Grab my scale, handy over here. Now this is size 10, and size 10 has to be somewhere around 12 ounce. I would say around 12 ounce. Let's see how close I am. Wow, 10.5. That's amazing. 10.5 is an excellent weight. Actually lighter than I expected. 10.5. That is fantastic. Now, let me give you some numbers so you have kind of reference to go about. Usually I say, if you want to find lightweight shoe wear, if it's the boots, then you want to try to find something under 20 ounce. Full size boots under 25, mid-size boots under 20, trail running shoes, hiking shoes under 15 ounce. Okay, now around 15 ounce in the shoes, that's good. So if you have a little bit over, not a big deal. A little bit under, great. Obviously, the more under 15 ounce your shoes are, the lighter it's going to be, the longer you can run, the longer that you can walk without that weight on your feet bothering you. 10.5 is phenomenal weight. It's very, very, very light. I mean, that's really why I kind of enjoyed running in these shoes. But there are a few other factors that contribute to the comfort level. One of them being the flexibility of the outsole. And check this out. Here, the outsole is actually very, very flexible. I mean, this is ridiculously flexible. So you can run without any problems. You can run properly without putting any stress on your ankles, without putting any stress on your knees. All right, so it's very, very easy. But let's move on to the inner sole now. Let's see if I can take out the inner sole from here. And let's see if it's removable so I can show you how it looks. All right, so the inner sole, not much of the cushioning. As you can see, it's very, very thin, and it's just your kind of regular cheap foam material. Now there is a heel pad, but it's very, very flimsy, so you're not really going to get much of the support. There is really no arch support. So if you are looking for arch support, if you are looking for heel pad, kind of a support for your heel, you might want to consider replacing this, because there's barely any support. Now, cushioning wise, it's very thin, so not much cushioning, but because the midsole is so soft, you really don't need that much of the cushioning, because overall, combined between the two, you have decent amount cushioning overall. So pretty good. Now moving further, we have plenty of padding in the tongue. We have padding in the shaft, padding in the heel, and throughout the whole shoe. Overall, the fabric is very soft, so you have a overall very comfortable feel when you are wearing this shoe. So overall, on the comfort level, pretty good. Although the inner sole could have been better with a little bit more arch support and a little bit of a better heel bed by implementing just a little bit heavier material, kind of to give you that hold for your foot. Okay, let's move on to the criteria number 2, proofing and protection. Now, these are not waterproof, which to me, completely fine. I really don't care for waterproof shoes. I don't really see the point because there's not much clearance. Here, as you can see, the tongue is not gusseted at all. So if you get wet, you're gonna get wet. But on the plus side, because these are not waterproof, it means that the fabric is a little bit lighter, so it will dry up quicker, and that's what I'd rather have compared to the waterproof shoes. If I'm looking for something waterproof, I'm looking in the at least mid-size boots section. Now, speaking of the protection, you do have kind of a tiny little bit of a reinforcement right here with this fabric, but it's still very soft. So overall, your toe box is super soft. Now, I kind of wish that this front fabric right here, just this part, was a little bit of a heavier duty material to give some kind of reinforcement, to give a support. Would be good on the rocky road. But if you're running through, if you're running in a regular trail surface or something like that, we'll talk about the different terrains later in the review, you should be just fine. Now, the same goes for the heel. Obviously, you don't really have anything in the ankles at all. So not much in the proofing and protection. Okay, let's move on to the criteria number 3, quality and the design features. Now, quality wise, this is my first Astero review. I haven't reviewed anything else from them, so for me to compare to something is a little bit kind of hard. But if you go to the link in the description below, that's the link for Amazon. These are kind of newer on the market, so there's not a lot of reviews, but almost 50 reviews out there on Amazon, and seems like they're doing pretty good. Almost 5 stars. People do like them. The only thing that people complain about is the sizing, but we will talk about the sizing later. Now, whenever it comes to the design features, usually I talk about the lacing system in here, and here is actually very good lacing system. Surprisingly, for the price, it's my favorite. Thin, round, firm strings. Yes, they do great job. Very easy to tighten, to put on, to take off these shoes, because the lacing system is so good. Now, the lacing system itself, as you can see, is just 6 pairs of close hooks. Some of them just go through the fabric. Some of them, they do have a metal ring around them for easier slide for the string. So overall, pretty good. Okay, let's move on to the criteria number 4, outsole traction and stability. Now, this is where I have my love-hate with this shoe, and I'll explain why. Okay, so whenever I do my testing, whenever I do my run, my walk, I do it on a variety of different surfaces. Some older asphalt, newer tarmac, dry sand, wet sand, dry grass, wet grass, rocky road, trail surface, marble, tile, concrete, rubber. Man, I test them on a plenty of stuff. Okay, so love-hate, like I said. Love, let's start with love. Excellent design pattern. Oh my god, this is as good as it gets whenever it comes to the design pattern. This, as you can see, overall, it's very simplistic. There's nothing, and that's the beauty of it. The good stuff is always going to be simplistic. It's not going to be like weird, bunch of complicated design, stupid patterns. I hate those. This is great. Very simple. Overall, as you can see, it's pretty flat. Actually, it's very flat. So on surfaces like sand, you don't really dig in, nothing gets stuck in between the grooves, so great. But these grooves are very aggressive, as you can see. I mean, this is so aggressive. When you're running through slippery stuff like wet grass, this is where aggression comes into play. This is really good design pattern. Now, the hate. The problem here is because the manufacturer tried to save money on overall production, they also tried, obviously, to save money on the quality of the rubber that is used. This rubber is very cheap rubber, so these side grooves you have, they're very soft. As you can see, they bend quite a lot. So whenever you're running on flat surfaces, you do have a little bit of that unnecessary wobble. So it kind of throws you off balance just a little bit because this is so soft. On the plus side, because it is soft, you have all this flexibility in the outsole, so it adds to the comfort. On the negative side, it takes away from the traction. So which person are you? Are you more on the comfort or are you more on the traction? I prefer a little bit more traction, take away a little bit of the comfort, implement a little bit more of the cushioning in the inner sole, and fantastic, you're good to go. Because this design of this outsole is just, I mean, as good as it gets, really. If I was getting a trail running shoe that I use on a daily basis, this is what my outsole would look like, just with a little bit better quality rubber. Again, price-wise, for $43, you can't really complain. It's not a complaint, but something for you to keep in mind. Okay, let's move on to the criteria number 5. Temperature. Obviously pointless to talk about the cold temperatures. These are not winter shoes. They don't have no insulation. They don't even have the waterproofing. So forget about the winter. You're gonna freeze in these. But for hot temperatures, fantastic. Very nice, very breathable. I was testing them. It was almost 100 degrees here in Florida whenever I was doing my run. I was overheating, but not because of shoes. Shoes are very nice, very breathable, and I mean, makes sense. Like I said, doesn't even have the gusseting. So you have all this ventilation going. So really, really good. Okay, so let's talk about criteria number 6. Very important here is the sizing. Yes, there are some complaints. If you click on the link in the description below for the Amazon for these shoes, you will find the only negative reviews are for sizing. And yes, these do run a little bit on the bigger side. And usually I recommend getting half a size bigger for your whatever hiking shoes, whatever trail running shoes, just so you have a little bit extra space. These ones I would actually recommend getting either your size, your normal shoe size, or maybe even half a size smaller, maybe. But be prepared to play around with it, okay? Because these do run a little bit on the bigger side. Not a big deal, honestly. I would not necessarily say that, you know, just because they run a little bit bigger, it deserves a negative review. Not fair. But keep in mind that you might need to return them and get a different, smaller pair. Okay, let's move on to the criteria number 7, balance of application. So, if this really was your ultimate survival shoe, would this be good? Would this contribute to your survival? Okay, so if you are the type of person that thinks about the survival situation as just running as fast as possible through different terrains, not looking back, being as lightweight, just as mobile as possible, this is a pretty good option, especially if you are looking to save as much money as possible. If you're looking for shoes under $50, you pretty much not gonna find anything, because whenever it comes to trail running shoes, they start at like 75, $100 is normal. So this is less than a half. And everything that you're getting in this shoe for less than a half is unbelievable amount of value. And actually, let's move on to the next criterion. Criteria number 8, the price. $43 is a fantastic price for everything that you're getting. This is really, really good. I mean, the outsole, you can definitely use it on pretty much any kind of trail that you want to run in. Like I said, the only thing is that the rubber is, because it's cheaper quality rubber, it is a little soft for flat surfaces and might throw you a little bit off balance, but again, not a big deal. I've seen worse outsoles in much more expensive shoes. So whenever it comes to the competition being judged on the price, this just blows pretty much anything out of the water. So great job, Astero. Honestly, I'm very, very impressed. So let me know in the comments below, guys, what do you think about the shoe? What do you think about this review? Like I said, the links are in the description below. If you have any requests for reviews, drop them in the comments and I will be happy to address them. Thank you very much, guys, for watching. This was Ultimate Survival Gear. I'll see you guys in the next video.